vote on a constitutional amendment that could change the face of law enforcement in the state.
An alert day continues as some of us go back under freeze warnings, all of us getting to very cold temperatures. The latest coming up.
And the U.S. Navy war games get underway in Europe.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The midterm election is less than a month away, and one big issue on the Kansas ballot could impact how a county's sheriff is selected. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, Constitutional Amendment Question 2. If passed, the amendment will guarantee Kansans the right to continue to vote on who their county sheriffs are. Now, if not passed, the counties can decide whether to use a charter commission to appoint a sheriff.
The passage of this amendment enshrines the right for citizens to elect their sheriff in the state constitution, which means that right is given and cannot be taken away. Where since it's currently not in the Constitution, the ability to vote for a sheriff can be taken away. And we want to make sure that Kansans have the ability and the right to vote for their sheriff for generations to come.
Now, today is the last day to register to vote in Kansas, and you can find more information on how to register on our website at koamnewsnow.com/elections. Joplin City Council gives the green light to apply for a grant that would help pay for a trail to connect Landreth and Dover parks. $500,000 grant would come from the state's Land and Water Conservation Fund. The city would have to match at least 50% of it. The deadline to apply for the grant, November 16th. And the council last night also approved a proposal to add a top golf-style attraction to the city. It would be added to the Rangeline Golf Center in addition to the 9-hole course and putt-putt courses already there.
We've heard for that type of activity here in Joplin. As most people know, they have one in northwest Arkansas. So we do have a lot of people going down there to play that in that use in the top golf. So we're excited for it and hope to bring it to Joplin.
Oronogo has a new family-friendly hemp farm for 4-staters to visit this fall, and as KOAM's Yana Hatula shows us, it includes a haunted maze.
This hemp maze is the only one in the area. After completing the haunted house, people will walk through it in the dark. The owner of the farm says people often have a negative image of hemp.
People still think that, industrial hemp will get you high, which is the euphoric feeling in the brain that gives you that feeling. It won't. It has all the other benefits other than the euphoric feeling.
That's why workers want to educate visitors about the plant and all the different things you can do with it.
Like my shirt I'm wearing is made out of hemp, and it's some of the softest fabric, and it washes up and lasts a lot longer than regular cotton. And so that's something that people are surprised to see.
Newman knew of an old, unused turkey farm and came up with the idea to bring it back to life as a hemp farm.
Cleaned it out, scraped it, cut down all the non-usable stuff and salvaged what we could and cleaned it all up and cleaned out the brush.
The farm is meant for a whole family to have fun while also being educated about hemp.
And to some of the members of the Missouri Department of Agriculture and the hemp program, and he had suggested doing some type of educational place to inform the community of the hemp industry and this type of variety.
The workers say they may add hemp products for sale next year to showcase its many uses.
You can just rub it right straight on your skin, put it in hair products. There's tons of stuff.
In Oronogo, Yana Hatula, KOAM News.
The farm will be open all November. The haunted maze is open through the end of this month. Brr, it was cold this morning. We've got another cold night ahead. Chris Warner joins us with a first look at the forecast.
Yeah, if it means anything, this is our last big cold night for at least a little while, as we'll see temperatures back into the lower 20s again, and we do have another freeze warning in effect for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas that runs through tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. The rest of us, at least for now, out of the freeze warning, but it is still going to be absolutely chilly. Temperatures across the region looking good. 39 Iola, 41 Fort Scott, 42 Miami, 40 Neosho, and we've got 41 in Joplin right now. And looking at 7th and Rangeline, the skies are completely clear, and it does feel like 34 degrees. And as we go through the rest of the day in Joplin, you can see once the sun goes down, those temperatures, they begin to set they begin to drop rapidly after the sun sets. Other feels-like temperatures are all in the 30s, despite some of us being in the low 40s now, because we still have that north breeze that's blowing. Now, going through the rest of the day, we will reach a high of a whopping 48 degrees with some wind gusts upwards of, say, 20 miles an hour. Otherwise, we have sunny skies across the area. And, of course, to stay ahead of all the latest weather, can't emphasize it enough. Scan that QR code or go to your favorite app store and search for KOAM Skywatch Weather. Get that weather app. It's like having the entire weather team with you everywhere you go. So when you're not watching KOAM News, you have the latest forecast, radar, alerts, all kinds of alerts right there with you everywhere. We're going to take a look at how cold it's going to get exactly tonight and a big warm-up that's on the way here in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Russia is now targeting Ukraine's power and water supplies just weeks before brutal winter weather arrives. Russian missiles hit a power plant in northern Kyiv today, knocking out electricity for about 50,000 people. The attack follows a barrage of deadly drone strikes on civilian targets. There was some good news, a prisoner swap. The two sides exchanged more than 200 detainees yesterday, including 108 Ukrainian women, mostly soldiers, who are now free. And American sailors are working with U.S. allies in Europe to bolster defenses as Russia continues its war in Ukraine. CBS's Ian Lee takes us to London for the story.
F-18 fighter jets roar off the USS George H.W. Bush in the Mediterranean. In any war, controlling the skies is crucial, and if practice makes perfect, this aircraft carrier wants its European allies on the same page.
We'll be providing opportunity for our crews, our sailors to interact with multiple nations.
The 6-day Nato exercise involves 10 countries, with an ultimate goal of dominating the sea and skies. And they don't have to look far to see the alternative. Ukrainian forces constantly pick away at Russian soldiers from above, dropping grenades and keeping their planes low and fast while hitting their enemy. Russia also competes in the air with its warplanes, missiles, and most recently, Iranian-made drones striking civilian targets. If attacked, NATO wants to make sure there's no question who has sky supremacy.
It is a defensive alliance in that we will defend every inch of NATO territory.
A loud warning to any country threatening the alliance. Ian Lee, CBS News.
The NATO exercise known as Neptune strike has been going on all week in the Adriatic Sea and ends tomorrow. That's a look at today's top stories in weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, seasonal hiring gets underway. A look at what's in demand. And later we're making an herb roasted bunt pan chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We're fast approaching the holiday season, and that means retailers are adding more workers. More than 500,000 Americans typically look for extra work at this time of year. But as Nancy Chen tells us, inflation is making this holiday buying and hiring season an unusual one.
It's already the most wonderful time of year. That is, to find work for the holidays.
We're finding that people want some extra money, especially during the holiday season.
After struggling to fill shifts the past 2 years, Jason Mabel, who heads East Coast operations for clothing retailer Splendid, kicked off holiday hiring earlier than ever in September.
This is the time where maybe a teacher might have off during a few weeks during the holiday season and they want to come in and pick up some shifts.
And with holiday costs expected to increase this year by 6%, people are looking for ways to keep up.
Given inflation and a looming possible recession, are there more people who are coming off the sidelines to seek those seasonal jobs?
It's definitely a driver.
Julia Pollack is the chief economist for ZipRecruiter and says even as the labor market begins to cool, it's still sizzling. Companies are coming out with big incentives, including higher wages. Amazon just announced sign-on bonuses going up to $3,000, with potential opportunities for full-time jobs.
This is a good time to be a job seeker.
This is the best job seekers market of all time. Employers are still having to make very attractive offers, and job seekers are still in the driver's seat.
But major retailers are divided on how they're hiring. While Amazon and Target are aiming for roughly the same holiday hires as 2021, Walmart, the nation's largest retailer, announced it's bringing on only about a quarter of last year's figure. Macy's is also pulling back, taking on about half as many seasonal workers as last year.
industry analysts say if you're looking for a seasonal job, now is the time, since it'll look a lot different even a month from now. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Well, retailers had strong holiday hiring last year, which means some businesses started the season with a higher head count than usual, since a lot of temp workers ended up staying on. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
You don't need a fancy rotisserie to make great roasted chicken. All you need is one pan. Any ideas what it is?
But first, Chris Warner returns with your complete forecast.
It has definitely been a cold one across the 4 states between last night and today, and then again tonight as well, which is why the alert day continues. Is not only do we have temperatures dropping back into the lower 20s again tonight, we also have freeze warnings in effect for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas that go until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Nothing yet for southeast Kansas or southwest Missouri, but just because you're not under a freeze warning does not mean it's not going to be cold tonight, because let me tell you right now, it most certainly will be. 7th and range line. Not a cloud in the sky, the most beautiful blue sky we have seen in a long time, and it is 41 degrees, but that north breeze, only at 12 miles an hour right now, makes it feel like 34 out there. And that's just with a seemingly light north breeze, let alone anything else. We've got 42 Neodesha, 43 Parsons, 42 Chetopa, 39 Pittsburgh, 41 in Fort Scott at the noon hour. But you factor in that light breeze and it feels a little bit cooler than that in some spots. Say 33 in Fort Scott, 35 Parsons, 35 in Independence, and feels like 36 in Neodesha right now. As we go through the rest of today, we will continue to kind of warm, if you could really call it that. We'll be 48 degrees under mostly sunny skies, and we could see the wind today gust around, say, 20 miles an hour or so. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be downright chilly. And if you think that's chilly, take a look at tonight. As the sun goes down, the temperatures will drop rapidly behind that, and we'll hit an overnight low of 23 degrees under mostly clear skies. 23 degrees. Now, I wish that was a typo. It was really 32 because that'd feel a little warmer, but no, it is 23 degrees. Now, we look at the future track. Excuse me. Future track's going to show us two things. You saw some 80s pop up. That's one thing that's in our future. As crazy as it seems, it's hard to believe from today, but there are 80s in our future. It also shows some passing clouds. It's Monday we want to talk about, as we have a system off to our northwest. Starts to bring in some shower and thunderstorm activity. Now, Monday, 4 a.m., we may see a few showers out ahead of that, but later Monday evening, as this system pushes through, we'll have better chances of some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and it will also return us to fall-like temperatures. So we've got this roller coaster ride of temperatures over the next few days, because you can see what happens behind this system as we head into next week. Another round of cold temperatures and some fall, well, at least more fall-like weather. And of course, a reminder, download the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can do so by scanning that QR code, or again, searching for KOAM Skywatch weather. It's like having the entire KOAM Skywatch weather team wherever you go. So when you're not in front of your TV, you can check the Skywatch weather app and get the latest. Now, for that roller coaster ride we're going to go on. 57 tomorrow, mostly cloudy, so not bad. Overnight low of 40. So much better. And then take a look. 72 Thursday, we cruise into the lower 80s as we head into the weekend. So a beautiful weekend shaping up. And then look at these overnight lows. We're going from 23 into the 60s. And then the shower and thunderstorm chances Monday, 75. And after that, we get a fall-like pattern that starts to settle in, brings our temperatures back down into the lower to mid-60s and overnight lows in the mid-40s to mid-30s, so a good range there, but a little more fall-like. But between now and then, it's hard to believe we're 48 today, and we are going to be 80 by Friday. In just about 3 days or so, 3 or 4 days, we're going to shoot up almost 40 degrees for afternoon highs before we cool right back down again.
But that 80 isn't even hot. That's pleasant.
No, it's
pleasant.
not bad. I mean, it's not as bad as it could be. It's just kind of a wild swing of temperatures over the next several days across the area, plus some rain chances in there as well, which is something we will certainly welcome.
So we're going from winter to summer and back to fall next week.
Yeah.
We're
going to get 3 seasons in a matter of 10 days.
Yeah, and Monday will kind of feel like spring, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so, with some showers and thunderstorms. You know how it is before it rains. You smell the rain, you get that feeling in the air.
Yeah.
We'll have a spring-like day Monday and then fall right afterwards. So
And then if it could just stay there for a while, that'd be nice.
That would certainly be nice, and we'll see what we can do. If we can at least muster a little more rain, because we definitely need some across the area.
I'll take that. All right, thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Corporal Fred Foster in the U.S. Army. The soldier hails from Irwin, Missouri. He fought in Belgium, Germany, and in France from 1944 to 1946 with the Company B 310th Infantry. Foster earned the Combat Infantry Badge, the Sharpshooter Rifle Badge, and the Soldier's Good Conduct Medal. To Corporal Fred Foster, we thank you, our four-state hero. Like Howard said, you don't need a rotisserie to make today's recipe. All you need is a bundt pan. Howard shows us how to make his herb roasted bundt pan chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Here in the Test Kitchen, we love it when we can find alternate uses for everyday kitchen items. One of my favorites is using a bundt pan to roast a chicken. It not only helps it stand on end while it cooks, but it also infuses it with all the goodness that we surround it with. Let me show you how easy it is. We begin by mixing olive oil with some garlic and onion powder, along with paprika and a little salt and pepper. We rub this all over the chicken, inside and out. Now we place the chicken tail side down onto the center part of the bundt pan, like this. You want to make sure that the tips of the wings are tucked in so they don't burn while they cook. Then we surround the chicken with cut up carrots and onions, top those with some fresh thyme, and pour on some chicken broth and white wine. This goes onto a baking sheet and into the oven it goes to slow roast until it's cooked through and the skin is crispy. There you have it, one of the most flavorful and moist roasted chickens you'll ever eat. It sort of self-bastes as it cooks and picks up tons of flavors from the herbs and wine. The recipe for our herb roasted bundt pan chicken is online now, just in time for dinner tonight. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a creatively delicious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's a look at today's four-state market prices.
We have got another chilly one for us tonight, 23 for the overnight low. We start to warm up, though. As you can see, temperatures start to look a little bit better. We cruise into the lower 80s by this weekend. And then check out Monday, some shower and thunderstorm chances, 75 for the afternoon high on that day. A reminder, freeze warnings in effect for northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas through 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Coming up tonight at 5.
Well, at 5, new research shows that getting less sleep could mean more health problems for older adults. We're going to look at the connection between not enough sleep and diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. All that in Health Watch. Plus, a Knoll, Missouri family living with limited access to clean water receives a new working water well. We're going to introduce you to the company that's making it happen. And City of Joplin teams up with Freeman again for the Christmas parade. Hope you'll join us at 5.
All right, thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.